Buried beneath the sand dunes lie the world's most shocking truths.
We decided to go to Peru and examine and see if these were fake or real or
The body is revealed, and they get to analyze it for the first time.
Today, scientists said they've discovered an entirely new species of primitive humans.
From stumbling upon ancient human remains to discovering the insane practices of primitive people.
The farmer started digging around it, brushing away the mud, pulled it out, and there was this giant stone head gazing back at him.
Tag along to see these people reveal the hidden truths that will leave you shocked. Nazca Alien. A three-fingered alien known to be one of the largest mummified aliens ever discovered in Nazca.
We decided to go to Peru and examine and see if these were fake or real or
The body is revealed, and they get to analyze it for the first time.
The alien was well preserved, sitting in a fetal position with 3 claw-like fingers and toes. Its large eye sockets and humanoid nose is what makes it strange. However, the strangest part is that unlike typical mummies, whose organs were usually removed before preservation, this alien still had all its organs intact. This makes the discovery even more mysterious and fascinating. Strange Monolith. This strange metal structure was found in the desert and no one knew what it was. So when a crew of experts went there to investigate the monolith closely, they were shocked to find that it was about 6 feet tall. And strangely, the monolith was pointing towards a split in the mountain's wall. Well, maybe it's pointing towards something or is part of a larger scheme that we do not know about. Or who knows, maybe the aliens put it there. Well, the weird monolith in the mountains was strange, right? This can't be a coincidence that some locals near the same place recorded an alien in the camera. It has big teeth and seems like a life-size beetle popping out of the slit of the mountain. I don't think that these two are coincidences. It has something to do with the monolith. Maybe the monolith summoned the alien inside the mountain. Who knows? Creature in desert. It's not only what is found under the sand that is creepy, but some horrifying things are found. Walking on top of it.
Caralho, velho. Onde que tá agora, pô?
A strange creature was seen walking through the desert. It has a weird hunching posture, tall figure, and a set of long, thin arms. Unlike any creature in the desert, as it's walking, it disappears into the dense trees. This strange sight surprises the man, although he tried his best to capture the footage clearly, but it still remains the question till this day what the creature was. Giants in Lovelock. In Lovelock Cave, unusual bones were found, which measured up to 7 and 8 feet in height, which is a possibility to be the remains of ancient people.
Large human skulls and skeletons that measured between 7 and 8 feet in height.
And one of the strangest discoveries was that they were all redheads, so this means they were different kinds of people than Native American.
Cave is that the skeletons were often found with red hair.
What's also interesting is that giant artifacts were also found from the cave, like their sandals, which were about 15 inches long, which would probably fit a 9-foot tall man.
It's that many of the artifacts were huge. They have giant-sized sandals, like a 15-inch long shoe.
It gives a chill in my spine that giants exist in reality. Homo Lady. Some cave explorers found unknown remains scattered around inside a cave in Africa.
Something I thought I would never see in my entire career. There was a clearly primitive hominid just lying there on the surface in the dirt.
They discovered bones, which were from 15 different specimens dating back thousands of years ago. However, the strange fact is that the bones were not of modern humans, but an unidentified species called Homo Lady. These species had small heads and narrow shoulders unlike us, and they were categorized as primitive people. Strange orbs. In 2018, a bunch of archaeologists were exploring the desert when they came across something so strange that they had to take out their camera to record the moment.
Oh my God! Can I have your blanket, please? He's on the ground. Oh my God!
A strange light was appearing in the sky, which looked like 3 bright orbs.
Now it just disappeared. We're here with you. They're disappearing.
Right when the woman began recording, they started disappearing one by one.
Then they disappeared.
This video proves the existence of extraterrestrial life in the deserts. However, we just have to dig deep to find more clues.
Now it just disappeared. We're here with you. They're disappearing.
Spacecraft in desert. A spacecraft was located in the desert of the Middle East. Strange, right? I couldn't believe my eyes either. Take a look. This UFO is exactly the ones you see in cartoons, but it's bizarre to see this in reality. It looks like a one-seater spacecraft sent down to Earth, probably for investigation or something else. It kept spinning until it disappeared into thin air. What are your thoughts about it? If you ask me, I really believe it's an alien spacecraft. Sandstone Gates. In 1977, on the island of Sardinia, which is also known as the Land of Giants, a farmer was plowing his fields when he stumbled upon a large statue fragment that led to archaeological investigation.
Farmer started digging around it, brushing away the mud, pulled it out, and there was this giant stone head gazing back at him with these obsidian eyes. And so this became quite a sensation at the time.
Archaeologists recovered about 500 pieces of carved sandstone.
Found over 5,000 fragments of these giant statues.
When they assembled the pieces together, they discovered huge statues of boxers, archers, and warriors. Up to 44 statues had been found, but the most astonishing thing is not their number, it is their size, which measure up 2.5 meters height and some weigh 88 pounds. However, their design is precise and has huge rounded eyes resembling an unknown creature. Some believe it may be a statue of an alien. Unicorn Mummy. In September 2007, these strange remains were found at an unknown place. Take a look at this. This creature is still unidentified till this date. Because it has some unusual features like a tiny and hairless body all curled up packed in a wooden container. However, it is believed that these remains are of a juvenile unicorn because of its pointy horn in the center of the head, or either a horse with a genetic mutation. Guys, if you ask me, I believe it's a unicorn, and as usual, the authorities are trying to hide this information from us. UFO over pyramid. A tourist was taking pictures at the ancient pyramids of Giza when he noticed two strange objects flying in the sky. At first, he thought they were just drones and shrugged it off. But later, when he reviewed his photos, he realized that they were actually UFOs. In the first footage, the UFOs are clearly visible, but in the very next one, they have completely vanished. Some may believe it to be an airplane or a balloon, but honestly, nothing flies fast enough to disappear into thin air like that. Alien claw. In an ancient city of Peru, while searching the ancient city, some mysterious set of bones were found there. This claw is apparently a three-fingered huge claw of an unknown being. It is believed that these ancient remains are either of a giant human that might have been existing in the ancient times, or a claw of an alien. What are your thoughts about it? Comment down below. Mysterious dragon. As kids, we all loved to believe that dragons were real, but as we grew up, reality set in, and we accepted that dragons were just mythical beings. This video captured by a local farmer shows a massive creature with a reptilian face flying over a high stone mountain range. As you watch closely, it becomes clear that this isn't just any creature. It's a dragon, just like our childhood memories came to life. Miniature coffin. These miniature coffins were discovered by a bunch of school-going boys who were out searching when they stumbled upon 8 strange boxes that were too tiny to be called coffins. Initially considering them toys, they accidentally damaged some of them. However, the team of archaeologists still managed to preserve some. According to researchers, these statues are tiny memories of the people who left home and never returned. However, locals believe that they are an ancient way of witchcraft. So what are your thoughts? Comment down below. Mountain Witch. A man was exploring a deserted mountainous place. When he entered the cave, he found a terrifying witch of the mountains. The witch was dressed up in a black cloak, covered head to toe with a stick in her hands. The man even had the rare opportunity to talk to her. The witch was not enjoying the conversation, so she kept asking the man to leave when he didn't leave. It made her angry, so she threw something at him in frustration to make him leave the place quickly. Egyptian tombs. Ancient Egyptians believed that passing away was the extension of life, so naturally they made sure they're fully stocked for the afterlife. That's why Tut's tomb was filled with preserved foods like dates, meat, and poultry, so Tut could munch on his favorite snack for eternity. And if you're planning to rule the afterlife, you can't be going hungry, right? Well, eternity is a long time and it's better to have something tasty to get through it. Tutankhamun tomb. King Tut was really influential, and before passing away he made sure that no one could disturb him in his resting place. So it took several years for Lord Carnarvon and his team to discover his tomb, which required great effort to reach. Where the antechamber was located, there were like 700 objects, strange looking animal statues, and gold everywhere.
Strange looking animal figures, statues, and gold everywhere.
Here, take a look.
This magnificent throne of the king, covered in gold from top to bottom.
Tut made sure that he left nothing behind, and quite literally took everything to his grave. Lost Golden City. Once known, the City of Gold is now known as the Lost Golden City, because it is in ruins and under the sand of Luxor, Egypt. This footage shows a labyrinth of streets and buildings built with ancient bricks. Archaeologists found various artifacts including colored pottery, scarab amulets, and rings. This 3,000-year-old city is not a mystery anymore, but it's fascinating to think about their lifestyle. Burial painting. This treasure depicts Egyptian art.
What we are looking here is one fragment of a mummy portrait.
It was painted by the artist to place over people's faces after their burial, just so they can recognize themselves in the afterlife.
When it's broken into small fragments or slides, for them it's useless. They could not sold it to the market, so most probably they left it at the site.
This art was left behind by the tomb robbers because it was half torn and completely useless for people who wanted to sell it. It's amazing to see such ancient paintings still existing today. Animal mummies. You must be familiar with the preservation of human mummies, right? But today we are going to see the mummies of animals.
Apparently of a falcon covered in gold.
Wow.
Nice.
Egyptians used to mummify animals as well. In their culture, they were known as their gods. Cows were seen as the mother goddess responsible for love, peace, art, and beauty, and music. Just like that, there were various other animals portrayed as their gods. Egyptian cheese. Cheese makes one drool their mouths, but this cheese is the opposite, because when you smell this cheese found in Egypt, it will probably burn your nostrils. While searching for mummies in the tombs of an ancient mayor, when archaeologists found the stinkiest cheese, which is said to be over 3,000 years old, it was either made out of cow or goat milk. Usually cheese gets better as it ages, but you probably don't want to try this one. Slithery desert creature. This footage shows a slithery snake-like creature crawling out of the desert ruins. What you see is unbelievable. It has 4 eyes unlike any other creature, although it has stripes on skin like a snake, but it looks like a caterpillar straight out of a Pokemon movie. Quite shocking, right? All this time I used to think that Pokemon wasn't real, but this is unbelievable how familiar it looks. Nothosaurus remains. At a construction site while digging a Millennium mine, when some workers discovered strange remains, they instantly called the experts to have a proper look into it. A huge remains of a lizard-like dinosaur that looked like it was alive a week ago. A huge sleeping, well-preserved dragon is one of the best preserved specimens that has ever been found, although if something is 10 million old, it shouldn't be looking like that. It's strange how well preserved it is. Well, now this 18 feet creature is in the museum for exhibition. Kufu Ship. Boats are about 10,000 years old, but building something like the Kufu Ship in ancient times is quite astonishing. This ancient Egyptian ship is as old as the preserved mummies in Egypt, and it's still one of the best preserved boats. It was discovered in 1954 in a sealed pit next to the Great Pyramid of Khufu.
They found about 651 main pieces.
When the ship was found, it was in pieces, but it was reassembled for research and display purposes. It is made of Lebanon cedar wood and measures up to 43.3 meters. Well, technically it was built for ceremonial purposes only. Ancient Egyptians used to carry the resurrected king across the heavens with the father of all Egyptian gods, Ra, Sakara Bird. This artifact is so unbelievable that it captures the attention of archaeologists.
Only when we examine it more closely that the real mystery is revealed.
This bird was discovered in 1898, Egypt. It was made up of wood and measures up to approximately 18.5 centimeters in length. This ancient artifact is shaped like a bird with wings open, looking like it's ready to take a flight, although it's strange that it doesn't have feet.
So given that they understood some basic principles of aerodynamics, could it be that the Sakara bird, with its vertical tail fin to act as a stabilizer, was a kind of glider?
Some believe it's just an ancient toy. However, some believe it's a design for an airplane because this can't be a coincidence for its wings to look this angled. Canopic Jars. As we all know, Egyptians are known for preserving people and other stuff for the afterlife. Now this raises a question. After mummification, what they do with the organs of the human?
This might look like a bunch of jars sitting inside this chest, but this is one solid block of Egyptian alabaster.
Ancient Egyptians had 4 types of canopic jars. On each lid there were statues of different gods which presented a specific organ. The human head represent guardian of the liver. The jar with the falcon head is a guardian of the intestine, while which has a head to the jackal looks after the stomach, and finally the baboon head guards the lungs. These jars were inside a canopic chest close to the mummy, so the organs can be used by the mummies in the afterlife. Atak Mummy. In the deserts of Atacama, a strange humanoid remains were found, which was about 6 inches tall. This led to widespread speculation on what the creature is, whether it's a tiny human or an alien. Well, after some investigation, it was found that it was an alien because of its elongated alien-like head, unlike any other species.
The Atacama skeleton definitely looks like an alien. 6 inches long, it has a weird, long, bulbous head.
The most bizarre thing about this mummy is that it is well preserved. Maybe people living in ancient times must have caught this alien. Alien skull. In Paola, Malta, 1907, 5 years after the discovery of Hippodrome, archaeologists discovered something that has been lying there for hundreds of years. Human remains were uncovered within the chambers of the Hippodrome. What's astonishing is that they found around 7,000 skeletons in total, and reportedly many of them had elongated skulls. Rather than going upwards, it was more like elongated from the back.
Does that represent the fact that they were doing head binding? They were pressed into shape when these people were babies?
Researchers believe that this might be due to head binding that ancient people used to do to elongate the skulls to mimic their gods.
Archaeologists and anthropologists agree that this was done because of worshipping some type of deity.
However, after further research, it was found that these skulls didn't have the sagittal suture, which divides the skull.
Something is wrong here. You're missing the sagittal suture.
This leads to speculation that these skulls weren't normal, hence they belong to some extraterrestrial beings.
That do not have the sutures, in my opinion, could be the extraterrestrials.
Prehistoric Art. A 67-year-old shepherd exploring ancient caves made a shocking discovery. The cave walls were filled with prehistoric art, which had dinosaurs alongside other animals like bison. The artwork also illustrated ancient archery practices, showing how people hunted and protected themselves in ancient times. However, this ancient drawing shows a proof of dinosaurs, so guys, we can now safely say that dinosaurs existed. Cave Giant. Giants do exist. Before you come at me, have a look at this visual. This 8 to 9 feet tall giant was seen coming out of the caves from a mysterious place. It is all dark and seems confused while coming out of the caves because of the flashlights popping into its eyes. The locals who witnessed it called the cops instantly, and it was further reported that the authorities took it with them, and now no one knows what they are doing with it. Mummified Alien. Now jumping onto our next video that shows 3 aliens that were found from the caves of Peru. These mummified corpses are now on display in a museum, and they're quite a sight. All 3 of them are tiny, gray, with elongated heads and slanted eyes, just like how you'd imagine an alien to look. Researchers believe they're between 700 to 1800 years old. But here's the most astonishing part. One of these mummified beings had eggs inside it. Can you believe it? It's heartbreaking to think that this creature lost its life before bringing its offspring into the world. Dinosaur in Egypt. In 2013, a doctor and his team of graduate students started surveying the area of a desert in Egypt when they came across this
colleagues saying, "I found a lot of bones."
The students found bones of an unknown species buried deep under the sand of desert. The team carefully excavated the jaw bones, leg bones, and other fossils of the creature and brought it into the lab, and upon searching, it was found that these remains were of a dinosaur. Quite astonishing, right? Dendrolites. These strange hieroglyphics in an Egyptian cave show an image of a light bulb. Don't believe me? Take a look at this prehistoric art. Dating back to 2250 BC, long before the invention of the light bulb or even electricity, the art clearly depicts a man holding what looks like a huge light bulb, and it's reflecting light. So what do you think? Is it a light bulb or just an imaginative piece of art without any deeper meaning? It's a mystery that leaves us wondering about the possibilities of ancient knowledge and technology. Gold tongue mummies. This remarkable discovery was made in the ancient tombs of Kauaisnite. A group of archaeologists, while exploring the tombs, discovered human remains with gold in their mouths. This gold was preserved in tongue-shaped structure. It took a couple of months, but after thorough research, the archaeologists stated it as a tradition of the ancient Egyptians. So the belief was to place a gold tongue to ensure the person would be able to talk in the afterlife. Moreover, this practice was considered a protection from the evil spirits. Zeus Temple. A 2 meters tall pink granite pillar was found in Sinai Peninsula. Although it was completely ruined, but archaeologists were still able to accurately identify it as the Zeus Temple. They also collected some other granite blocks which are now turned into ruins, probably because of earthquakes. These remains show that Greek mythology was not only practiced in Greek, but it was far spread out, even to the victorious land of Egypt. Gray alien. Imagine you're going through a rocky mountain when you come across something like this. An alien with a lanky figure standing on top of a mountain, and it's doing something strange with its hands, almost as if it's trying to communicate. Is it signaling to someone or something out there? Who knows? As the alien is moving, the cameraman keeps on recording the alien, who then disappears into the mountains. Mysterious artifacts. These ancient artifacts, which are about hundreds of years old, they were discovered by a local farmer, and nearly 30,000 items are eventually recovered, like pottery, ancient pipelines, and, most intriguing, hundreds of small figures. These figures aren't just any random shapes. They resemble different types of dinosaurs. Some look like the towering, long-necked sauropods, while others have the menacing features of a T-Rex. It is thrilling to see that these ancient artists have been drawing dinosaurs on the wall, which means they drew what they saw. It is unsettling to believe how well these people were able to mimic the creatures on the walls. Abandoned building. This footage is proof why you should not hang out in an abandoned building, because there might be things you may not want to see. This guy was on a roll to search the abandoned place as he was going inside with his crew armed with nothing but a flashlight. Suddenly, the guy gets shocked when he spots something behind the wall looking at him. Despite the encounter, he chose to continue further into the building. That's when a tall, dark figure started chasing after him. But unfortunately, the video ended abruptly, leaving everyone unknown about what happened to the guy. Megalodon tooth. Have you ever seen the biggest tooth ever? If not, then stick to this video to see the most shocking prehistoric discovery. Let me show you one of the biggest tooth of the marine world. It belongs to the formidable Megalodon. Initially, this tooth was found from the depths of the Pacific Ocean. However, the rare findings deserve to be reserved at a perfect place. So, they decided to display it in the deserts of Atacama. Mummified crocs. Ancient Egyptians are known to mummify almost everything, whether it's a human or their pets. And by pets, I mean their pet crocodiles. Yeah, you heard me right. In ancient times, they used to mummify animals very differently. Their organs were not extracted like human mummies, but still it was astonishing to see that they buried them with their owners to meet them in the afterlife. Underground galleries. A group of explorers uncovered the ancient entrance to the underground galleries of High Andes. These long ancient tunnels were filled with indecipherable writings. As they went deeper into the tunnels, they found more bizarre artifacts. A strange alien sculpture carved with the same mysterious language and a weird chipped book with bizarre drawings in it. It is believed that these galleries belong to aliens that lived there hundreds of years ago. Witch marks. In the caves at Creswell Crags were recently found to have hundreds of anti-witch marks that were written on the ceiling of the wall. These marks were drawn hundreds of years ago by the ancient people to ward off evil spirits, demons, and witches that reflected their deepest fears.
It could be witches, but it probably includes evil spirits, demons, that kind of thing.
These carvings have symbols like the Latin initial for Jesus, crossed letters, and primitive double V signs representing the Virgin Mary. For decades, these markings were mistaken for mere graffiti, even by the staff at the site, until two cavers recognized their true meanings. This shocking discovery gives us an insight into the fears and beliefs of the people living 100 years ago. Ancient footprints. In 2021, archaeologists found thousands of years old hand and foot impressions in the Tibetan Plateau, possibly the oldest known work of art. There are 5 hand and 5 foot prints in total, all are placed on a rock. And that rock is a soft form of limestone known as travertine. It is common to find footprints of ancient people, but this time around they have also found handprints, which are probably the size of a children's hand. So guys, it could either be an artwork or an accidental mark on the rock. However, the use of limestone kinda indicates that it might not be accidental. Strange skulls. Workers at a deserted site stumbled upon something strange. It was a bunch of tiny skulls. Much smaller than any human skull and weird too. The scientists took these skulls to a lab for further study, and it was found that these skulls didn't belong to humans. Instead, they appeared to be of an extraterrestrial being. Now, these mysterious skulls are on display in a museum where visitors can see them up close and wonder about the strange beings they once belonged to. Crawling alien. Imagine yourself exploring the caves when suddenly a massive-headed alien with a bony figure crawls out of the cave. He's flaunting his sharp claws as if it's ready to attack the people who are recording it. This bone-chilling sight was captured in Sagada with a very puzzling mystery. No one knows who recorded it. This mystery is still unclear whether this unknown creature was protecting the cave or something else that we can't figure out yet. These mysteries can only be revealed by stepping into the cave's dark and mysterious depths. Mountain giants. Some people on a trip to a rocky, mountainous place came across something that they couldn't wrap their heads around. 2 giant humanoid figures were found standing on top of the mountain. They didn't seem normal because of their tall, wide figures. Even from a distance, it's evident that these figures aren't normal. Some speculated that it might be giants or aliens. Well, guys, if you ask me, they look like titans straight out of an action movie. And now, let us move on to our subscriber pick of the day. But unfortunately, we couldn't find anything related to it, but I guess you got lucky today because I have got something even better for you. So stick with us and see this upcoming video. As we all know, the underground passageway is a home of mysteries, and we have found many astonishing things there. Take a look at what this man found in this shaft. A huge, scaly lizard that looks like a dragon is buried at the bottom of the shaft. The remains of this dragon are incredibly well preserved, almost like it's been frozen in time. Netizens are absolutely shocked, in disbelief that dragons might have actually existed. Some even believe that it could be possible the dragon was alive and hibernating. What are your thoughts? Comment down below. See you next time.